Hi, hello, my name is Gomer Joseph. I hope you've all been having a great day so far. Welcome back to another True Crime Tuesdays video. If you are new, I welcome you. Today, I'll be discussing a requested case of the unsolved disappearance of Kreneice Jones and LaMoine Allen. This case is not only devastating, but it is also puzzling. It puzzles me that these two kids, who were simply playing with one another, seem to have just vanished out of nowhere. Now, I encourage y'all to do your own research with this case and not just look at my video for all of the information. Here we go. Kreneice Jones was born on November 11th of 1988 in Edgard, Louisiana, to parents Carla Russell and Gregory Jones. And I know that Kreneice did have an older sister named Krishana. Now, I really couldn't find much about Kreneice's personality, but I do know that she had the nickname Mama, and she was always wanting to be around her older sister, Krishana. On May 10th of 1992, Kreneice is 3 years old at this point. She, her mother, Carla, and her older sister, Krishana, are traveling to Woodsville, Mississippi. They travel there to attend a Mother's Day service at a church, and they were invited by these two people named Glenn Edwards, and I assume that this is his partner, Leola Jackson. Now, the only way that Kreneice's mother knew of Glenn was that Glenn was the nephew of Carla's boyfriend at the time. And the thing is that Carla didn't really meet Glenn and Leola before this, so this is really like her first time meeting them in person. But the thing about these two is that they were the guardian of a 2-year-old boy named LaMoine Allen, whose father was serving in the military and whose mother was enrolled in some sort of school out of town. LaMoine Allen was born on July 23rd of 1989, and he was also born in Edgard, Louisiana. After the church service was over, everyone pretty much spent time in this house near a grocery store called the Jimmy Jackson grocery store, which was owned by Leola's parents. Now, the adults, they spent time at the yard outside of the house while the kids played outside in a different area. And again, like, the adults are eating and they are just playing music, just spending time together. Now, before I go on, I don't want to make it sound like I am blaming any of the adults at this time, because I mean, especially in today's climate, I'm pretty sure that there are plenty of people asking like why the kids weren't in the yard with them. But again, this was like the early 90s, like, and I do understand that kids still went missing in the early 90s, but again, it just wasn't as common as it unfortunately is today. Like, people still, if you were in a safe area, like, people still felt like it was okay to have their kids like play outside in a different area, because the older kids were pretty much, I would say, like, responsible for keeping an eye on the younger kids. Now, later on, I assume that when Glenn and Leola were ready to grab LaMoine, they arrived back at the yard, stating that LaMoine was nowhere to be found. Since LaMoine was with Carla's daughters, Krishana and Kreneice, she went to check on them, and she found her older daughter, Krishana, but couldn't find her younger daughter, Kreneice. Carla would ask Krishana where Kreneice was, but the answer that Krishana gave was that Kreneice was with another girl named Tasha, who was Leola's niece. And the thing is that Tasha never really came back with Kreneice. Now, I'm still not, because I tried to go ahead and look, but I'm still not really clear about this whole Tasha and Kreneice situation. But from what I pretty much gathered, what I could gather was that, again, like I mentioned earlier on, like, Kreneice always wanted to be with Krishana, so Tasha pretty much like volunteered to like take Kreneice off of Krishana's hands for a moment. But again, I just don't know what happened between the time that Tasha pretty much looked after Kreneice to the time that Kreneice just disappeared. Like, unfortunately, that's still not really clear to me. Now you have these two babies missing, and of course, the adults are absolutely frantic. They frantically just look around, knock on doors, speak with people who live in the area, and just search the entire neighborhood. Despite doing their best to go ahead and search this neighborhood, these babies could not be found at all. So the police was called, and this expanded the search, even leading to the police grabbing search dogs. Now, the police used to search dogs, but what's really disturbing about the findings is that the police concluded that Kreneice and LaMoine were taken into a vehicle. The police looked into this further, and from what they could find when, asking people who lived in the neighborhood, the people, I guess, like, I would consider them witnesses, they did notice that there was this one specific vehicle just driving around their area. It was described as this blue compact car with a false convertible top and had dark tinted windows. But the thing is that they're not 100% sure that this is the sort of vehicle that the babies were taken in. Now, I'm going to try to go ahead and make this as clear as I can. Now, according to Carla and Kashana, the description of the vehicle is what they feel was used to point guilt towards Kreneice's dad, Gregory. And they believe that Gregory had nothing to do with the disappearance of either of these babies. Especially the fact that Gregory had no idea that Carla would be taking the girls to Mississippi. And just to be clear, like, Gregory is only Kreneice's father. Gregory is not the father of Krishana. In fact, that day, Gregory was actually working. Unfortunately, like, there's really no physical evidence other than the search dog's finding that could help locate Kreneice and LaMoine. So the family just went on, years just wondering and, having struggles with their questions as to where these two babies could have gone. Now, it wasn't until 7 years later, in 1999, the family receives a note from this woman named Miss Cook, who is from Buffalo, New York, and she claimed that she had Kreneice. Now, you can do with this information however you like, but according to Miss Cook's note, she only had Kreneice because she was swapped with her daughter, who also went missing. Now, Carla, she tried to get into further contact with this Miss Cook, but I don't know why, but Miss Cook had to go to court for whatever reason, and for whatever reason, she wasn't able to give Carla any more information about Kreneice's whereabouts. Now, many years later, all the way to 2012, Carla is told by a relative that LaMoine was still alive and that he went by a different name. He also tells Carla that her daughter Kreneice was alive and just had her third child. Now, as to why this relative doesn't decide to tell the police this and only tells Carla, I have no idea. Like I said, this case is absolutely puzzling to me, but Carla, she goes off of what her relative explains, and this leads to her meeting this woman named Brittany, who agreed to take a DNA test, but according to the DNA test, it was determined that Brittany was not Kreneice. Despite that, what really surprised me was that Brittany and Carla continue to keep in touch. I don't know if they still keep in touch to this day, but I know that after the DNA findings, concluded that Brittany wasn't Kreneice, they kept in touch for a while. Krishana, she would also use Ancestry. She would use the DNA, testing with Ancestry in hopes that one day it would help find her younger sister. Now, unfortunately, that's all the information I have about this case. If you're watching this video at all and you have any information about this case at all, please be a snitch. Call 911 or call the FBI office in Louisiana, whose number is 504-522-4671. If Kreneice is still alive today, then she'd be 35 and LaMoine would be 34. And I truly do hope that these two people are still alive. Not only that, but I do pray that the monsters responsible for taking these two when they were babies would repent of their sins and trust in Jesus Christ alone to save them. That way they would just be convicted to just provide the loved ones with the answers that they have been searching for all of these years. And it has been over 30 years, and I can imagine that these were 30 long years since these two have been missing. And I know that it has not been easy for their loved ones, as they still have been searching for these two for like 3 decades. The God that I serve, the God of the Bible, is an all-seeing God. He knows exactly what happened to Kreneice and LaMoine that day, and he knows exactly where they are. I do pray that God would comfort their loved ones and that he would provide their loved ones with answers. I thank you all for taking the time in your day to watch this video. If you did like this video, please feel free to hit the like button. If you have any thoughts on this case at all, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you'd like to go ahead and see more videos from me, please feel free to subscribe and click the bell to be notified about the next video. If there is a specific true crime case that you would like me to cover, go ahead and let me know. I will see y'all for next True Crime Tuesdays, and I will talk to y'all later.